You're listening to the How to Talk to Girls podcast with your dating coach, Trip, from tripadvice.com. Do you struggle with getting girls to like you? You'll learn step by step how to talk to girls to create deep connections, whether it be for one night of wild fun, a 1-week fling.
Are you currently involved in a sexual relationship?
Or for a lifelong partner.
Full of long-lasting pleasure.
Here's your host, Trip.
Hello and welcome to the How to Talk to Girls podcast. This is your host, Trip, from tripadvice.com. And today's episode is sponsored by Spartagen XT, the advanced testosterone formula at clinical strength. This is a supplement filled with herbs and filled with vitamins to help you boost your sex drive, boost your libido, increase your testosterone, helps you with erectile dysfunction, helps you not finish too fast when you're with a girl, and of course, like I said, it increases your testosterone. So if you have any issues with testosterone, or you feel that you might in the future, well then I highly suggest you check this out at SpartanLibido.com. A lot of guys have already checked it out and gotten it and loved it and said how it's gotten them great results and have thanked me for promoting it. So yeah, it's good stuff. Go check it out, SpartanLibido.com, to boost your sex drive. Now, today's episode, we are digging again into the files, my old coaching files. So if you've been listening to the past couple episodes, you kind of already know what I'm talking about. And if you're just listening to this one for the first time, well, I'll give you a little heads up. I've been digging into my old coaching recordings. That's right. So when I was coaching years ago, I would record it, and I still do every once in a while. And but back in the day, I just recorded a bunch of them, and I'm now finally going through them and seeing which ones would be really good for a podcast, because I'm dishing out some great information, some great advice in terms of dating. And today we're going to be talking about some hacks to get more dates. So this was like a Q&A session that I had with one of my students. And I remember this was in Canada. I actually flew out to do coaching with him. And, we were doing a bunch of coaching, going and approaching girls. And then finally we sat down and he's like, all right, I got a bunch of questions. I'm like, yeah, spit them at me and we will get them answered. So there's a little Q&A here, and a lot of it has to do with I feel like most of the answers I give have to do with these little hacks. Like I give these little tips, these little hacks to help with approaching and to help with basically getting girls attracted to you while you're approaching them and talking to them. So this is that Q&A session here, and it's about 25-30 minutes long. Great information here. Highly suggest you go until the end, because there's always different questions that I think you're going to get a lot of information out of. So hopefully you enjoy this. I got some more coming your way, and of course soon enough we'll dive even deeper into other people's questions that you guys are calling in for. So if you have a question you want to call in, do it at the How to Talk to Girls hotline. It's 323-432-0025. Call in, leave a message, and I answer it here on the podcast, just like I answer these questions with this student, which is coming up right now.
Okay, so my other question is with day game and night game, is there any difference with how I act, or is it just that the logistics are different and then it's a different environment?
Yeah, the logistics are different, obviously, because of the environment. And yeah, you want to be a little less flirty. Charming always, a little less flirty though. You're not doing a lot of teasing. You're not doing a lot of touching during the day. Yeah. Because they're a stranger, it's a little intense. Yeah. You don't want to scare them off. Unless it's in a party environment, then it's different. Yeah. Then it's the same thing as night game. You can get, Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah. So just the main difference between the daytime stuff to everything else is you have to sort of be more socially appropriate, I guess. Yeah. Okay. And you need only 15 minutes to get a solid number close. And when I say that, I mean they'll respond to you. Yeah, they'll actually answer your phone calls. Yeah. You need more a half an hour, 45 minutes. For day game. At night. Oh, at night. Yeah. You need longer at night. Yeah. Because everyone's kind of talking to each other, so it's you need a little longer to really make a good connection. People are drinking. I see. It's an intense environment. You need a lot of time. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the other thing that I... That's in theory. It's not always like that. Yeah. It's just a tendency. Because, with that, when I thought of day game, I thought, well, if this girl gives me her real number, and it's during the day,
that's probably a better indicator that she's interested, whereas if it's at the bar and she's just kind of drunk, she might be caught in the moment and maybe we are having fun. But then the next day, she's just kind of like, fuck that or whatever.
Right,
you know?
Right.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so that's sort of my more overall theory stuff. I think I found some more specific techniques. Okay. So anyway, one thing that I'm working on overall conversation skills and being smoother, but then there's the big hurdle of getting it where it's all flirtatious, which is really the thing that makes it work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did you have the same issues where you've had to, where it was challenging for you to get to the flirtatious mode?
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
Okay, good. So when you were first starting out and you were trying to get to that mode, what did you think about, what kind of mental routine did you do to get yourself in state? Because it's sort of like a state almost.
It is a state.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what are we talking about? The flirting or in state of what? Generally in state?
There's the confidence and charm to be in state, to be in state for that, which you're always doing, which is something that develops. But for me, I'm just wondering if you sort of did something mentally to get yourself into state so that you could pull off the flirtatious stuff. Because I'm sort of thinking that with me, it's two different mental frames that I'm in. There's the conversation one and the flirtatious one, which I've never really been able to get into.
Right.
Yeah.
Good question. So, at first I just worked on conversation. I was like, I just need to work on talking to girls that I'd never talked to before, and hold a conversation. And I didn't really care about anything else. And then I was like, all right, I can do that now. That's not a problem. Now I need to start making it flirty. So it was more like techniques that I was slowly entering, throwing out a tease here and there. That I would think of, maybe a canned tease, or understand the technique behind teasing. Exaggerating something. Or doing some kind of cold reading, the let me guess. So it would be throwing in those little avenues to tease whenever I can. And it would just kind of gradually increase, where now I can just do it off the bat, a lot. Because I'm so used to doing it. I know where to find those little times to throw in a tease.
Okay. So it seems like what a person could do is take the individual aspects, because I see there's conversation skills, calibration, teasing, those things are can be sort of separated. They overlap to some extent, but they can't be separated as skills almost.
Right, yeah.
So a person could start with the basics, and as time goes on, it's one step at a time. You master one, and then when that's taken care of, you can slowly start to add other ones.
Now, you don't need to be mastering it to the perfection, now I'm the best conversationalist ever.
Yeah.
It's once you start to get pretty good, that's I think your key there is once I get pretty good, then you move on to the next one. So it should be quicker. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be I'm not the best conversationalist. I still have an awkward pause every once in a while. It's you don't need to be an A+ student. Just, do okay, and then move on to the next one.
Plus, the previous one that you're working on will get better anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As you keep going, you know what I mean? So, we'll work on that tonight, more kind of flirting skills. You're going to be hearing me.
Yeah, that'll be big.
So I want you to really listen to me. I want you to listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Ditch out everything else in the bar and just fucking put those... Did you bring your headphones?
Yeah, these are really good. They got the silicone rubber earbud things.
Perfect.
So they're good, yeah. Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, then what I think what would be good for me is when I'm listening to you, I try to think what you're thinking or get into your head almost. Yeah, okay. So because then I can sort of think
and use it, steal it, be oh, he said that, okay. And then you can use whatever I say and kind of make it your own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Add a flair to it, yeah, okay. Well, everybody says everything that everybody else says anyway.
Pretty much.
Everybody says, God damn it, once in a while, so.
Right.
Okay. Okay, yeah, this I asked you when we were here at why are you so much better at the street pickup than the guys I've seen on YouTube or whatever.
I don't know. I've seen some guys on YouTube who are pretty good.
Yeah, okay. Alright, maybe I just haven't seen those guys, but
thanks for the compliment. I'll take it.
Alright.
Yeah. I've just done it a lot.
You
Said
that
over and over and over and over.
Yeah. Okay. So with that last approach with that blonde chick, were you surprised with the result?
What with the result of me getting her Facebook information?
Well, the whole thing that like you know she was I could tell she was instantly flirtatious and shit like that. And
yeah, kinda. Because like I don't put a lot of. I used to, but not anymore. I don't put a lot of confidence into direct approaching as much as I used to. So I just saw a pretty girl. I'm like, you know what? Let me go direct, see what happens. I wanted to show you, to just give you an example of what can happen during direct. And I just went with it. So I was a little surprised. But then again, not really, because once something goes well, I know where to go with it. You know?
Okay, yeah. Good. So it's kind of lucky in a way, because I mean, like, bad luck would be if you're good at doing direct approaches. Everything, you have all the basics down, and you do a direct approach, and then she like rejects you. Okay, fine. But then there's the one where she's like open to it right away, but then you can realize, okay, well, now I can take it from here in a good direction to get this.
Yeah, man, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
I don't like to use the word luck, but I like to say it's a numbers game.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you're just like sort of surprised that it did happen to go well just that time.
I mean, yes and no. Like, I'm not, but pretty rocking that my first approach was, you know what I mean? Well, well.
Good. Okay, so this is one of those sort of things that, I don't know what, it's not really relevant, but it's just something that sort of bugs me, is with guys that seduce girls and have never learned game, are they doing the same things, but don't know it because it's just natural to them?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's all the same.
They're just more confident.
Yeah, okay.
And it's this really hardcore, genuine confidence, because they've always had it. So, it's just, yeah, they are doing the same things.
Okay. Because, like, pretty much all girls respond to basically the same things.
Yeah, the same attraction triggers.
Okay. So, because the thing about it that bothers me, it's like, it seems weird that I have to learn how to do something that would make a girl into me. You know what I mean?
Right, like, as in nature should just kind of work itself out.
Yeah.
Well, the strongest survive. We're not all born strong.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, we all have different genes, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like every human should be capable of socializing and being good with women, but the one who do will end up finding a woman and then will breed. But we can hack that.
Yeah, it's all about hacking.
Because we're smart now.
Yes.
And humans are conscious. You know, so we've learned to go around that. That's why we don't have to live in caves and build fires. We can have a stove and have this really nice, like, roof over our head. You know?
Right. I guess yeah, okay. So learning game, or whatever you want to call it, learning social skills and flirting skills is not much different than if a person was, you know, when a person lives in a house, that's kind of unnatural, I suppose.
Well,
because
yeah,
could be living out in the woods, and that would be natural.
And the thing is like, it still goes with a theory of survival of the fittest, right? If you're dumb, in like, for example, like if you're mentally handicapped, can you survive on your own?
No.
You probably die. Right? You like walk into the street and get hit by a car.
Yeah.
because you don't know, right? So life weeds out the weak ones. Now, the smart ones, you know, they're going to survive because they're going to learn and figure out how to live and how to survive and how to replicate. That's what we're learning, really.
Yeah.
We're just learning how to replicate. Whether babies get produced or not, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, it's to the same man.
So the people who are smart, driven, strong, will survive.
The will to survive.
The will to survive. It's the same thing. It's basically the same thing we've been talking about. The will to survive. The courage to keep going. To break through the bad nights. To say fuck it. To be outcome independent. To persist through the pain and go and get what you want.
To push through the pain period. I guess it's sort of like similar to the bodybuilding philosophy. Is like you have to push through the pain period to get to that.
It's identical.
Yeah, same idea.
Before I approached that girl today, those butterflies came up.
Oh, really?
I felt it. But it was kind of almost exciting.
Yeah, it's like an adrenaline kind of one.
It was an adrenaline rush. It was like, whoa, my body's telling me like I shouldn't do this because I might get killed or something, but I know how to work past it. And just, it's like I don't even fight it. I don't fight it, I just kind of let it flow through me, like, just let it happen. I don't let it stop me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't try to fight it, I just let it happen. Like, alright, I feel all weird, but still gonna go and approach this girl.
Yeah. You override your body kind of thing. I've done that before where you just force your hand kind of thing. You have no choice because it's like, you know, my body is always going to respond this way. So I'm always going to feel anxiety about doing this particular thing. So if I was to, you know, I just have to ride that out and have mental strength to just push through.
It's mind over matter. You know, you could be outside and be cold, you know, but if you really meditate and just absorb the cold, maybe it won't last that long, but even just for like a little bit, you can almost like tell yourself you're not cold.
Yeah, exactly. You can just sort of change your focus.
You change your focus.
If you're focused on just the fact that you have goosebumps and you're uncomfortable and you're shivering and the wind is coming, you can almost like sort of occupy your mind doing something else, and it's like you don't realize that your toes are turning numb.
Right.
And shit like that.
Or that's one way. Or you can really absorb it. Actually focus on the feeling. Like what is the feeling that's making me cold? I know I'm cold, but like really just stop for a second and think, what is it? Like where is it? Okay, it's that. Is that feeling? Is it really so bad? Like it's just this one. It's just this feeling, and you're just kind of like working with it, and you're just kind of like focusing on what that feeling is, rather than letting your whole body freak out because of it.
Yeah, so it's sort of like being present, I suppose, where it's like...
Yeah, it is. Just like approaching a girl, you're like, all it is a feeling that's causing you to feel like really shy and freaked out to approach the girl. Sometimes you have a valid excuse, you don't know what to say, but if you're learning this stuff, there's anything, and say hi. Right? And so you can just kind of let that feeling flow through you, those butterflies in your stomach, that gut-wrenching like feeling. You don't have to let it take over you.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, okay, so that's there. That feels interesting. That feels kind of weird. All right.
It's sort of like your own judgment of it being bad. It's not so much that you freak out. It's not so much that the feeling is crippling. It's just that you're judging it that it is crippling. Or it's just, you know, just not a pleasurable feeling, and you just want to avoid it. You're just adverse to it, even though it's really not a big deal if you were to actually, like, just sort of not look at it that way, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so... what was I saying? Okay, back to that hacking thing. Just about, I suppose in that regard, just about anything in nature can be hacked. and we do it all the time. Like farming, breeding crops.
Right.
It's all hacking.
GMOs.
Yeah, exactly. Domesticating animals. It's all hacking just the same.
Right.
Okay. That's a cool way to think of it, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I'm doing like weird, unnatural stuff, or
Right. You're just being smart about it.
Just being smart. Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay. So there's certain things that you can do to attract women. I wasn't doing those before, and now I know what they are. Now I just got to do it.
Yeah. It's great.
It's great. It's fucking awesome. How wonderful is that?
Yes. Where could you want? Okay, so I think the best thing for me would be to continue recording the talks in set so I can work out my kinks, so I can like listen to them and be like, okay, I'm still pausing, or I'm still jumping into a different topic too fast. Because other than that, I don't know how else I would like progress really. Like if like when I'm just on, like you're helping me right now, but if I was just on my own, trying to improve, that's the only thing I can think of to do.
To what? To record them?
Yeah.
Yeah, try recording them.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you can look back at it and be like, oh, that didn't work out so well. Or what could I have said here that would have been better? Okay, I'll say that next time.
Yeah. Because that would have been funny, or...
Right.
Yeah.
Because you know the theory. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You can almost coach yourself through it.
Yeah. Pretty much. Wouldn't be much different than if I recorded myself playing guitar. And be like, oh, I don't like how I bent there, or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. A big hurdle is getting into the flirty zone. It all has to do with calibration. My biggest hurdle, I think, right now is I have no natural sense of calibration. That seems like that's like something that I see other people, like just normal social interactions, where there's no awkwardness. It just flows. I'm thinking that like the common denominator there is the calibration. It's sort of like, I kind of know what it is, but it's kind of mysterious at the same time. And it's not something that you can like really explain easily. I just have a sense for what it is, but I can't really put it into words what this whole calibration is. But it's
adapting to the situation.
Okay. And maybe
it's more advanced.
Yeah. Because it's like a very high-level social skill where like only people with the best social awareness can like totally realize how the other person is feeling and move the interaction in any way, whether it's verbal, non-verbal.
Right.
So that person, because it's like it's basically a back and forth communication with multiple layers. There's like the body language, the verbal, the tonality, eye contact, all that shit. And it all works together and it's all integrated. Mm-hmm. So calibration is like a subtle, it's just this quality that people have.
You can learn it. It's a skill.
Okay.
It's all a skill. Calibration is adapting to your surroundings. So I believe that calibration all starts with a goal. Mm-hmm. You won't know how to calibrate if you don't know where you're going. Mm-hmm. Or you won't know when to calibrate if you don't know where you're going. Mm-hmm. So you got to realize, okay, there's this girl. She's at the bar. She's with her friends. My big goal is to get so-and-so's number. Mm-hmm. Right? Maybe it's, let's say there's a redhead and a blonde and a brunette. Let's make it easy. Blonde and a brunette. And you want the blonde's number. Mm-hmm. Okay? If you go over there and, the blonde is really nice, but the brunette's not so nice, well, now you have to calibrate to the situation and adapt. And you got to make sure that both of them like you. Now, you're only going to know to do that because you have to understand the concept that if her friends don't like you, it's going to be hard for her to like you. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's calibration. That's part of it. Mm-hmm. Another area of calibration is knowing how she's feeling, right? If she's giving you eye contact and her body language is really good and she's facing you, then you know that she's interested. So you're not going to back off, right? I had a really big problem with that, actually. I have so many stories where they were into me and I knew it, but I didn't want to quote-unquote blow it by pushing further because I was afraid of rejection, right? So I would just like, oh, keep it cool, and then like, whatever, come back to her later, and then I'd blow it, or I wouldn't see her again, or remember this one night, this is way before I even started doing any kind of game or anything like this.
Yeah.
I met this hottest blonde at the party. Gorgeous, leather, like a 9, a 10. Okay? And we started talking, and I don't even know what the hell I was doing, but all I know is we were cool. Like, she was liking me.
Yeah.
And then her and her friends, and I got her number, and her and her friends went to, like, go to another party, and I didn't want to, like, blow it. So I was like, okay, cool, you know, like, well, I'll talk to you later. And I never ended up hearing from her again.
Up?
But I know if I went with her that night, who knows what could have happened.
Yeah.
Could have hooked up with her. Maybe could have sealed the deal more on, like, her, like, really liking me, and then she would have answered my phone. You know?
Yeah.
My phone call. So, you got to know when to push forward, and you got to know when to pull back a little bit. Sometimes if you throw out a tease, and they come off kind of offended, stop teasing.
Yeah.
It's not about like, well, no, but you got to tease when you meet a girl. It's like, yeah, you do, but you also have to calibrate.
Yeah.
You also have to adapt and realize, okay, she's not liking that, I got to back off. Or, she's super high energy. She's not shy at all. You got to match that energy. If you come down, then she's not going to be able to connect with you. She's not going to come to that level with you. You got to outdo her, right? You got to get to their level, but just be a little bit higher.
Okay.
There's like a scale. There's like a calibration scale. So you always want to make sure that you're making the right moves to become just a little bit higher value than her.
But not too much. Okay.
Not too much, not too low.
Yeah, if she was the shy type, you want to be more outgoing and talkative than she is, but not like a crazy, boisterous person.
Right.
But still have to be more than her because you can't expect her to like pull the whole thing.
Right.
Okay. Well, I sort of get calibration then, and I think that calibration is sort of like the connector because let's say you take a person who knows all these techniques and has read all this stuff and can execute them, but they don't have any calibration. That's why two people can do essentially the same thing, but one has success and the other one doesn't, right?
Right.
Because one person would do a tease, but it's like at the wrong time, or
right.
Something like
or
that.
maybe like all the friends like you.
Yeah.
But all the friends like you, but maybe one of them is kind of like getting bored. You know, I bring her in conversation a little more. You know, or like what happened yesterday. A new friend came in. Got to befriend her. And I already had the other girl that we were talking to. She vouched for me to the new girl. She goes, "Oh, he's really nice."
Cool. Okay, so in that instance, I know what's happening. Then I can observe that. I can be like, okay, so this girl's like having a fun time talking to me, at least for the first few seconds, and then the other one's kind of like, ugh. So then I notice those things, but instead of like springing to action and adapting, and like, you know, like in that instance, bringing her into the conversation, I just sort of like think, oh crap, this is going south. So I guess maybe my expectations are too high for how smoothly the interaction has to go.
Well, right now you're in the beginning stages, so you just got to make sure that you're getting as many approaches in as possible.
Okay.
You got to just keep on having conversations, as many as you can, and being social. Because the more social you are, you're going to find that you're going to run into the same situations over and over and over, and you're going to know how to handle them. At first you might, but when you see the situation happen again, you'll know how to handle it.
Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and write a review. Over 18 and want a question answered on the podcast? Email all your questions to trip@tripadvice.com.